At this point, Disney has lost a lot of favor with its target audiences, as we've all seen the company abandon rich, emotionally deep storytelling, instead opting for risk-adverse and formulaic projects, dumping a lot of their money into lifeless live-action remakes and pouring out sequels, prequels, and franchise films like it's nobody's business, with absolutely no signs of slowing down anytime soon. These unfortunate recent developments led me to want to revisit some of the films from my childhood, partially for nostalgia's sake, and partially to understand what Disney, and really the film industry as a whole, is missing. Why did their content feel so different to me back then? And I think I found many of these answers in Brother Bear. Released in 2003, Brother Bear received mixed critic reviews, with some praising the film and others who were more lukewarm on the story. Financially, its box office outing was a moderate success, making a little over $250 million against its $46 million production budget, certainly making the film profitable, but far from the worldwide phenomenon that The Lion King or other animal-centric Disney animated films had been previously. So you may be asking yourself, hey, Scream Stories, why is this random, decent early 2000s movie so insightful in your opinion? And, well, I'm glad you asked. The biggest thing that I found within Brother Bear that I think is largely absent from modern cinema is emotional nuance. Now, what do I mean by emotional nuance? To me, that phrase represents narrative ideas that explore the complexities of the emotions that we feel every day, but often give little thought to. We typically get happy or sad at numerous points throughout a day, but how often do you really think about the subtle shades or complex subcategories of those general emotions? And most importantly, why you're feeling them? Brother Bear tackles a very important feeling that we all have, and that's fear. We fear what could harm us, and more importantly, we fear what we do not understand. In seeing Kenai forced to become the very thing that he hates, a vicious grizzly bear, he is forced to understand what it feels like to be in the position of the very object of his hatred. And he experiences the fear that bears themselves have of hunters. You see, Kenai viewed bears as these aggressive, mindless monsters that only sought to attack or steal food from his tribe. So when he was told his totem was the bear of love, and that he would need to embody this animal and emotion to reach manhood, Kenai is predictably upset and dislikes the idea of embodying anything bear-related. But through reincarnation as a bear, and taking Coda in as a younger brother of sorts, he is forced to come face to face with the hatred buried deep within his heart. He quickly realizes that to a bear like Coda, Kenai's tribesmen are monstrous, vicious creatures that attack bears for no reason. It is the exact same way that he himself viewed grizzly bears before he became one. And this simple yet powerful realization is really the emotional and narrative crux of the film. In my assessment, this movie is a call to accept one another and better yet seek to understand each other, so that we can stop living in our fears, and stop demonizing or othering those who might not look like ourselves, or those who have a different background or different way of life. The bears here are a thinly veiled metaphor for how we treat other human beings who are different than we are. And that could be racially, religiously, take your pick. We as human beings tend to feel most comfortable when isolated in a group of our peers, oftentimes taking the shape of people who look and think exactly like we do. But the issue with echo chambers like these is that your beliefs and mindset are never challenged, merely reinforced through anecdotal evidence that confirms what you want to believe. Kenai being forced to address his fears head-on and learn to understand the way that bears live and think is such a beautiful message that preached understanding, but also the prospect of seeking knowledge of the unknown. Rather than allowing yourself to fear something or someone blindly, step outside of yourself and seek to understand them. It also preaches forgiveness. Coda forgives Kenai for killing his mother and decides to still accept him as his brother. Kenai forgives bears in general for the death of his brother Sika. So while Brother Bear may have only been a moderate financial success, viewed by many as just a goofy and fun bear movie, in my opinion, it is worth its weight in gold because it managed to be a goofy and fun children's movie while also saying something very important. It's a simple message, but one that both children and adults could comprehend and take value from, powerfully accomplishing all of this in just 85 minutes of runtime. Now, I'm not saying that every film that's come out in the last few years lacks this amount of emotional nuance. The two Spider-Verse films certainly told pretty engaging emotional stories for its central characters, all wrapped in incredible animation. But many modern movies do not care to tell an emotionally nuanced story, instead opting for big spectacle. Ungodly amounts of CGI, green screens, big choreographed action sequences, flashy in-your-face animation. Big, mindless spectacle has become the most prominent muse of the Hollywood film industry. When I think about most of the best performing box office outings of the past few years, films like Deadpool and Wolverine, Avatar: The Way of Water, these are beautiful yet hollow films. They entertained us for a few hours and made a lot of money, but what impact did they have? Will their story stand the test of time? In my opinion, the answer is emphatically no to both of these box office giants. Avatar: The Way of Water is well over twice as long as Brother Bear, and yet doesn't even come close to telling as compelling or emotionally nuanced of a story. There is no excuse for a movie that is over 3 hours long to have such a mindless and meandering storyline. I firmly believe that film was a vehicle to show off some beautiful, groundbreaking CGI, and really nothing more. The story is not even in the back seat. It's been tied up, shoved in the trunk of the car, and is gasping for air. Brother Bear does not even come close to being as beautiful visually as Avatar: The Way of Water, and certainly can't compete with the animation of the Spider-Verse. However, it does have its own unique animation style. I love how the Northern Lights are animated. It is also a very vibrant film with carefully crafted hues. While yes, time has expanded technology far beyond what Brother Bear has to offer from a visual perspective, I still believe Brother Bear shows us that a beautiful story will always be more important than beautiful visuals. Perhaps in the short term, your mindless, hollow beauty will garner more praise and box office success. But when it comes to standing the test of time and telling a story that will resonate for generations to come, Brother Bear has and will continue to age far more gracefully than the vast majority of modern cinema, because it has the heart and emotional nuance that modern cinema has largely lost. This might be a movie about a boy turning into a bear, but it tells a more human story than any film I've seen in the movie theater for at least a decade or so. I loved Brother Bear as a kid, and it was a cherished part of my VHS collection, but as an adult, I resonate with the film even more, and I long for a day where we see a return of movies like Brother Bear. One can only hope, at least. Well, if you made it this far, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Did you grow up loving Brother Bear like I did? And do you think it holds the answers to what is currently ailing the modern film industry? Or do you think I'm chatting absolute bollocks? I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribing for more Screen Stories content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.